What is going on, everyone? Mr. Natfav here with another movie conversation. I wanted to talk about J.K. Rowling's new installment called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I have to say, J.K. Rowling has done it again. I totally understand why that woman has that much money with her franchises. I've seen it with a friend, and boy, I totally loved the movie, and that's why I made a video. I really wanted to talk about it. I warn you that I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'll make probably another video where I'll spoil a little bit and where we can talk about spoilers over there. Now, before I continue with the video, I wanted to say to all the people who commented on my other videos that I will respond them as soon as I can. At this point, I am right in the middle of my school exams, which, as you know, asks a lot of study time. So I always read your comments, that's something you have to know, but I prefer to give my time when I respond to it. All of you deserve a good and well thought reply, and that's why it usually takes some time before I reply, because I need to find that certain time. And it also depends on how big of an answer you expect from me, and it also depends on the comments I receive, because sometimes I have these very long quotes which I love, but it also asks a lot of time for me to read them and to reflect on it and to reply to it. So yeah, let's now get back into it. Seriously, as a Harry Potter fan, I really loved the movie. It's a bit funny because at first I thought that the movie wouldn't come near the same level of the Harry Potter installment. But it's very wrong to look at the movie that way. It's something totally different. We all know that it's actually a prequel towards the world of Harry Potter, Ron and Hermione in Hogwarts. And I have more than enough reasons to tell you why you shouldn't take your time to compare Fantastic Beasts to Harry Potter, even if I can understand that you do so. Because one, the story doesn't happen in the same time, and two, the story doesn't happen in the same place. They are in America, running in the streets of America, and they are clearly more in the presence of muggles. Harry Potter happened only in Hogwarts, perhaps a few other villages next to Hogwarts, a beach if I remember correctly, but you'll mostly see school stuff and some child, schoolboy humor since the main characters were kids. Right here we have Newton, that is the new protagonist. He's a young man, so it already has a bunch of effects on the humor, on the plot, and on the events. To be honest, when I watched the movie, maybe in the beginning it was a bit slow, but in the end you'll find out that Fantastic Beasts has a more mature, more darker tone than Harry Potter. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you think I'm wrong, you can also write everything down below and we'll talk about it. It's of course a normal thing to compare both these worlds because Harry Potter was awesome, we cannot deny it. And we all would want that Fantastic Beasts comes with the same flow. But you need to look at it from another perspective. And I think that the best example I can give is if you think about The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbits, which was the prequel. People loved comparing both of them, and that's completely justified. The Hobbits showed the finding of the One Ring, and The Lord of the Rings was all about the passing and the destruction of said ring. So both these worlds are deeply attached one to another, thanks to that ring, thanks to Gandalf, and thanks to Bilbo that would guide you from story 1 to story 2. Again, Harry Potter and Fantastic Beasts, yes, we know that it's a magical world, but they clearly told us in the movie that the way wizards deal, for example, with muggles in America, it's something totally different than how they do it in England. Mixed marriage is not allowed. So if you, for example, compare Hermione, Hermione has one magical parent and one muggle parent. And in England, they are allowed to get married, while in America, that's something you cannot even talk about it. So it's totally different, and I totally loved the way magic happens in some other way in another country, in another place. It's really awesome. It makes the world so big, so beautiful, because they have different laws and different rules. So it's right now I'm really curious to explore the wizarding world because it's amazing. It's big, it's beautiful. Now, I've read a few critics from people. Rotten Tomatoes gave the movie an average score, And if I recall correctly, Fantastic Beasts received more or less mixed to average scores. People weren't really happy, and it's probably because they compared the movie with Harry Potter. To me, that's the main reason why it would receive average scores. So I'm going to read a few comments so that you can have your image as to why people gave them some average scores. And before I read these two quotes, I love to say that you'd better go and watch the movie for yourself and give yourself a score, because I completely disagreed with the opinion of people. I totally disagreed. I'm going to read a few quotes of people that felt that the movie lacked a certain something. So the first quote says this: Rowling may be back, but her magic has largely been lost. So I totally disagreed with that, because if you look the movie, if you look at all the spells that have been used, it were way more than what I saw in one single Harry Potter movie. You saw way more spells, you saw way more magic, and the action scenes, they even reminded me of Transformers in some sort, because you have a lot of explosions, a lot of magic was used. That's someone that wrote Rowling may be back, but her magic has largely been lost. I don't know. I still feel the magic coming from J.K. Rowling. I don't know about you. Another quote says this: the plot loses its foothold just as the momentum should be taking over, leading us into a barrage of meandering episodes that lack the compelling gravity you would expect out of this ambitious world. And I totally disagreed with that, because, guys, I'm totally sorry, you really have to watch the movie, and if you watched it, please comment down below. I really want to read your opinions. When I watched the movie, I admit at first it began slowly. I wasn't too attached to Newton and to his friends. But at some point, the twist, at some point, the story went that dark with Colin Farrell. So it really was amazing, and I felt compelled. I was in that story. I couldn't, my eyes had to stay fixed. So I cannot understand how people see the movie as not compelling. I can't understand that. And afterwards, when you came to the end, I didn't want the movie to come to an end, because something happened. One of my favorite actors came in that movie, and he only came there for maybe a few seconds, but I won't spoil anything. That's for the other video, where I'm going to spoil a bit more. That someone came in the movie, and I was even more amazed. There are so many revelations, so many things that are going to happen. So how can you not be that amazed about the movie? I even came to a certain conclusion. I know the movie is titled Fantastic Beasts, but if you look at the whole movie, I don't even understand why they called it Fantastic Beasts, because it's not even the major point of the movie, the major aspect. And that's what I liked, because I didn't know what to expect. I thought that the movie was only about Fantastic Beasts, and yes, it was about beasts, but check the movie and you'll find out that it's hiding something big, something beautiful. Now, after reading these quotes, I am really curious to find out what your opinions may be. I want to know your opinion about the movie. I want to know if you enjoyed it. I want to know if you disliked it, and why did you dislike it. Please, guys, let me know down below, and let's talk about it.